All right, my friends, let's go back. It's June 16th, 2022. The Warriors, they beat the Celtics to win their fourth championship in 8 years. But since that moment, Boston has had its sights set on returning to the finals and eventually raising banner number 18 to the rafters at TD Garden. But those chances, we all know this, they hinge on the play of their all-star duo, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And Brown is arguably in the midst of his best season of his career, and he has his sights set on his first All-NBA team. And then over the last couple of weeks, he's done a lot of interviews, expansive interviews, one with the New York Times, and then today a profile on him in The Ringer that was published. And it covers everything from his social activism to his future in Boston. Take a listen to this quote. He said, "I don't know." This is about his future. "As long as I'm needed, it's not up to me. We'll see how they feel about me over time, and I feel about them over time. And hopefully, whatever it is, it makes sense. But I will stay where I'm wanted. I will stay where I'm needed and treated correct." Now, I would be remiss not to say that this is within the context of a very long article that is very nuanced. He talks about how this is a business, how he understands that, how he is raised in the South to go through the front door. Anyone who goes in the back door is shady. I encourage you to read the whole thing. But that's an interesting quote there, Zach. What made you prick your ears up?
Well, I mean, to me, treated correct and where I'm wanted is he's approaching free agency again, potentially after next season. But even more importantly, he's extension eligible this offseason.
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense for him, as the rules are currently constructed, to sign an extension with Boston. Now, if he makes All-NBA, which is the thing that's hovering over this, the math changes. You can see it up there. He becomes eligible for that Supermax, which I think no player has turned down a Supermax. So I think Boston is probably rooting for him to make All-NBA, or for changes to the CBA to happen, the collective bargaining agreement to happen before this summer, which is possible, and they would be able to offer him more money than it's indicated there than that 4 years, $165 million extension in July. So there's a lot of complex variables hovering over all of this. But, yeah, Boston is going to have to make a decision soon, and Jaylen Brown's going to have to make a decision soon. Does he value security if it's offered to him, if he makes All-NBA, which is a whole separate issue, or does he value the ability to choose his own team if he wants to, look around at what's available for him?
Perk, you're a resident Celtic. What do you make of this?
Well, it's two things. One, we have to continue to realize that Jaylen Brown has an old soul. He is a leader, right? When it comes down to him leading for social justice, speaking out, he's one of the leaders when it comes down to the Players Association. He is a vocal leader. He's very mature for his age. He know what the hell he's talking about. So I applaud him when he step out and he do these podcasts and he speak out and he speak his mind freely about what's going on, not only in basketball, but what's going on in the real world. Secondly, we have to realize this. He is averaging a career high in points and rebounds this season, and he continued to fall under the shadows of Jason Tatum. Now, is that a bad thing? No, but we never, including myself, really give him his just due when he have those spectacular performances. We don't see the social media blowing up or blowing out of proportion when he drop a 50-piece. We don't value him enough, and I think he sees that at times, and he's starting to wonder or starting to think, do the Celtics recognize that as well? And rightfully so, like Zach just talked about. His contract is coming up. How much do you value him? Do you value what he brings to the table? He is tied for 10th in scoring right now with Trae Young for his league leaders in points per game.
So another quote, Perk, that's making the rounds on social media is in the wake of Kevin Durant asking for a trade, Jaylen Brown's name was out there quite a bit. And this was a quote that he gave The Ringer. He said, "KD and JT, they're friends. They're working out together and whatnot, so I wasn't sure what that energy was. I wasn't sure what the direction of the organization was." So within the story, they also talk about, the reporter spoke to Brad Stevens, who said that they had a meeting after his name was out in these talks, and they all got on the phone, Jason Tatum, Brad Stevens, Jaylen Brown, and they talked about the fact that, no, we're not going to trade you, but we needed to clear the air on this. This is an interesting thought to kind of get the curtain